The StartupFoundry.com presents how DuckDuckGo is fighting an 800-pound gorilla. Special thanks to our sponsors of this video, Media Temple. Enjoy the show. Hi, I'm Paul Hans from the Startup Foundry. Today we have a very special guest with us, Gabriel Weinberg, and he is the creator and founder of DuckDuckGo. And Gabriel, will you tell us what DuckDuckGo is?
Sure. Thanks for having me, first of all. DuckDuckGo is a general purpose search engine that you would use to, replace your general internet search or a place to start, as your homepage.
Okay. So there's obviously a very big giant here with Google. Tell us, what is it like to take on a giant like that? Like, how are you trying to take on a company that's just loaded with cash, has all the mind share? Like, how are you fighting these guys?
Sure. Well, our approach, well, first of all, everyone compares whatever we do in any other search engine to Google. So it's totally a valid question. Um, we've tried to concentrate on things that Google can't copy that easily, which has been privacy and partnering with other vertical search engines and which produce more instant answers and being way more aggressive at removing content farms. Um, those are the main areas, but more high level, I sort of think that people prefer different search experiences, and to the extent that we can provide a different experience that some people prefer,
Mhm.
then it's sort of easy for us to get users, which has been the case.
Okay. So, let's dissect some of that stuff that you were talking about. Let's start with privacy. Um, Google has all these analytic tools that sort of follow you around the web. Um, and how are you better than Google in that area as far as privacy goes?
So it's pretty simple because the DuckDuckGo, we don't track you at all in the sense that we don't know who you are. We don't save information about you, your IP address or user agent on a technical level. So we have no way to tie your searches to you or even tie your searches together in an anonymous way. So you're completely anonymous when you use DuckDuckGo. Um, that's very different from Google, which tracks your searches and ties them together, whether or not you're logged on and across the entire internet.
Okay. So, how would a general user benefit from this? Like what are some things that could go wrong if you weren't tracking, or like if you were tracking somebody's searches? Like, what's the worst case scenario here?
Sure. I mean, so like I think of it as not even what's the worst case, what's sort of like a general thing that can happen to an average person.
Mhm.
Um, the question that I think people need to ask themselves is, do you want your search history, which can be very personal, like medical, financial information that you search, to be shared with random third parties and be sold, to credit card companies and data brokers and stuff like that? Because that's what's currently happening. When you click on links in Google, your search terms are sent to the sites that you click on. It's not just saved by Google. And so those companies are not Google and they don't have any privacy policies that they have to abide to so they can sell that information off to third parties. With Google themselves, I think it's less risky. You just have to ask yourself, do you want Google to have all your information? The risk there is that Google could be hacked, which they have been. And then just that Google will use your information to target advertising to you. And people care, some people care about that, some people don't.
Okay. All right, that's great. Um, Another thing that you mentioned that sets you apart from Google is that you have less spam. Recently, you've made a pretty strong case on your blog that some of the e-hows of the world and some of the content farms are just polluting the internet. Like, what steps have you taken to stop that practice?
This was one of the focuses right from the beginning, and one of the motivations for even starting DuckDuckGo. I had noticed a lot of increasing sort of commercial and irrelevant, even totally irrelevant results because they were nothing but ads essentially appearing on Google. So we started from the beginning of crawling the web, looking for these just spam domains and removing them. Um, and that's most of the focus is this algorithmic approach where we actually have a list of like 70 million domains that we're removing. Um, then there are at places like eHow, where as soon as we launched the search engine, we started getting complaints like, okay, these domains are appearing all over the place and it's completely low quality content. For those, there's not that many of them, but they come up in complaints a lot. And so what I would do is after a while, I would aggregate those and go investigate them myself and then determine whether it's worthy being in the search engine or not. And if it's not, then I would just manually remove them.
Okay. Do you think that's a step that all search engines should take?
Yeah, and I think other search engines besides Google have started to do that.
Like, would that be like some of the Bings of the world, or what other engines have been doing that?
Lately, Bleco followed us and did that, and Surf Canyon was the latest one that I know that did. I'm not sure if Bing has done it or not, but I think they should.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be fantastic. Like I've noticed that when I'm searching on Google, like I've been getting bombarded, and some other people in the tech world have been making comments about that too, with just the relevance of the articles has just been declining, at least in my personal experience.
Right.
So, okay, so you have a pretty solid base for DuckDuckGo. Um, like you have some really great tech features. What about users? How many people do you have using this site, say on a monthly basis?
Not exactly sure. This is the whole thing with the no tracking. We don't really know how many people are using it, but we do track the number of direct searches performed. And so that's about 6 million last month.
Wow, that's great. Okay. Um, so then, what's next for DuckDuckGo?
Sure. So we've really focused on the spam problem and the privacy and these what I call zero-click info, which are instant answers above the results. This instant answer concept, I think, is great, and we just would like to take that much, much further. So we've been partnering with all sorts of startups and organizations that have good information for certain type of searches. An example like that we don't have right now is recipes,
Okay.
and which Google just launched. So we'd like to do something like that, and then in 100 different categories, um, just way more instant answers. So that's where we're headed.
Okay. All right. And can you describe a little bit more like what instant answers is?
Sure. So when you search for something, you're used to getting links, but ideally you'd like to get the answer to your search with 0 clicks. And so we try to put a box at the top whenever possible to give you information about your search, and hopefully stop your search right there. So this could be as simple as a topic summary from Wikipedia, or it could be like if you type in the population of Zambia, we give you the answer from Wolfram Alpha. And then at very specific verticals, like it could be a Star Wars query, and would give you the right information from the Star Wars Wikipedia. And so there are 100 of these great sites that have good information for certain types of queries. And so our job is to figure out which one is the best one for you, and if it matches, in a relevant fashion, then show you that snippet.
Okay. Great. Let's talk about money now. And I mean, it's a pretty personal subject. Um, so, is DuckDuckGo bootstrap funded? Give us some background of the history of DuckDuckGo in that area.
Sure, it's completely self-funded. We haven't taken any external investment. Um, it's been around for about 3 years. We make a little money now via Amazon affiliate.
Okay. Oh, still there?
Right? Um,
Sorry, we lost you there for a second. You were saying you make a little bit of money from Amazon affiliates.
Yeah, we make a little money from affiliates, mainly Amazon, but as you can see, there's no ads on the site yet. It's not that we're opposed to advertising, but we're trying to find an ad provider that is willing to work within our privacy guidelines, which we haven't really found yet. Um, and so I'm trying to hold out until I can find someone that we're willing to work with.
Would there be any interest for DuckDuckGo creating its own advertiser network, like similar to like the Google model, but saying, hey, like we're not going to track you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just that it is it's not an easy thing to do.
Right.
And it's
And
sort of a distraction from concentrate on search results. But ultimately, if that's what we have to do, then maybe we'll do that.
Okay. Yeah, I was curious if that was going to be tough to try to get advertisers signed on to the no tracking thing when so much of their revenue is coming from targeted ads like that.
So to the advertisers, they don't really care that much because on the search engine, even on Google, the actual ads they show on the search engine are not that targeted to you personally. They're targeted mainly to your search.
Okay.
And so we can do that fine. We can serve up ads related to cars if you type in cars. We don't have to track you to do that. But it's mainly the ad feed aggregators who have more of an issue with it because they want to be able to track.
Okay. Yeah. Well. Thanks for your time here. Is there anything that our readers should really know about DuckDuckGo?
I would encourage everyone to try it for a week, and I think you will be pleasantly surprised.
But well, hey, Gabriel, thanks a lot for your time. We'll see if we can send some traffic your way.
Thank you.